Here are my 5 tips for aspiring entrepreneurs that just might give you a hack or two on how to push through this exciting journey you're on. Now, I've started 18 companies myself, invested in 68 startups, and I know how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. And with these next 5 tips, I hope I can speed up the journey or at least give you a few shortcuts in a positive way to get where you want to go. My first tip is slightly controversial, and I know when I say it, there might be some pushback initially, but I believe when you build a business, you should put all your energies into building the brand of the company. Your personal brand should come second. Now, this might sound a little bit, hypocritical because I'm pushing my own brand right now, but I did spend the first part of my career pushing the brands that I worked for. So I built a company called Fluid. Yes, my brand as Simon Squibb was tied to that, but I never really pushed the Simon Squibb brand, and I put all my energy and focus into building Fluid. Why? 2 reasons. One, when that business got purchased by PwC, if I'd called it Simon Squibb or Simon Squibb was too prominent, they would have wanted me to be in that business forever to keep it alive. Whereas I'd built the brand to stand on its own, to live on its own, to be on its own. So PwC could buy it without me needing to stay in that business and work for them. The second element was, by building up Fluid, I did in fact give my brand credibility. I wasn't trying to pretend to be a successful business person. Not that you are, but I think with personal branding, you've got to be really careful you don't overplay who you are. Whereas I feel like with Fluid, I built up a reputation, I did something impactful, and then I had ammo and resources to then push the personal brand story that I'm now pushing of Simon Squibb. So my first tip is perhaps consider putting all your energies into building the brand of the business, or go completely the other way, put all the energy into your personal brand. But if you want to scale, focus is very important. The second tip I want to give you, and it took me 30 years to realize this was the right thing to do, and that is you need to think about replacing yourself. When it comes to scaling a business, the biggest problem and the biggest reason you won't scale your business is because you've made you the center of it. If you're the bottleneck, if you're the only person that can hire, for example, or you're the only person that can talk to clients, or you're the only person that can handle way too many things within your business, you're going to stop that growth. Now, right now in your subconscious, you're probably thinking, well, I don't have the money to hire someone to do all these things that I need doing. And that in itself is the problem. You start to think that you're the only one can do it. You get caught in a financial loop where you can't actually afford to hire people because you're not thinking big enough and you're always making it about you. And also, again, you'll get burnt out this way. You've got to figure out how to scale you, how to replace you. And the first step is break down all the things that you do in a day, perhaps hold on to the things you really love, but then start bringing in people, whether it's part-time, freelancers, or someone full-time, to take on those bits and give you a chance to breathe. The best thing I ever did, and one of the things that smashes this saying, the harder you work, the luckier you get, that saying is not true.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction.
And I actually found that the best thing I ever did was bring in someone else to be CEO of one of my companies. That made a huge difference to the business. I'd been running it for 10 years already as the CEO. When I brought someone new in, they brought fresh blood, fresh energy to the business. But of course, beyond that, when they came into the business and actually took care of it, I was free. I was free to go and do something else. The third tip I want to give you as an entrepreneur with experience, I want to share this very important concept I've figured out, and that is buy time, don't sell time. Now, I know when I first say it, it's hard to grasp, but actually it's pretty simple. If you look at anybody successful in this world, they're buying time. So for example, the very rich, they have a plane of their own. They don't wait 2 hours to get on a plane and wait an hour at the other end to get all that organized. They schedule things on their timeline. They get on that plane quickly. They get off that plane quickly. They save hours of their life. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy a plane, but I am saying if you start having this mindset of buying time, it can make a huge difference. So invest in, for example, having someone pick you up at the airport. Save that an hour wasted and make that time your own. I believe hiring people is a good example. Bring in really talented people that can save you time, allow you to scale up. Now, that's the structural side. The other side of this point is how you charge people. So many people charge by the hour. They charge by the fixed fee based on what they're doing round hours, and that is a mistake. I always used to charge around output, how we had achieved, what we achieved, when we achieved it. The results were how I used to charge. charge in my businesses, and that's how we were able to buy time, not sell time. We weren't selling by the hour, we were selling by the results. It's key if you want to scale as an entrepreneur. Now, my fourth tip for entrepreneurs out there, as you're busy running your businesses, don't forget to keep an eye on the latest new trends, especially in things like social media. Now, you may or may not be the marketing person, but I don't want you to miss what's going on out there. So, for example, Clubhouse, in my view, is something you've got to be on there. TikTok is something you've got to be on. But even if you feel, no, Simon, I just don't have time to go on these social media platforms, I want to give you an important tip. Go grab your name on those platforms. Even if you go on TikTok and grab your name, like I tried to grab at Simon Squibb, but somebody already cyber squatted it.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
But you go in and get those names and hold them. At least later, when you see an option to use these things to support your business, you're not busy fighting, as I now am, to get control of your own brand name or your own personal name on these social media platforms. And to grab your name is free. It doesn't cost anything. So go and grab them at the very least and give yourself the chance to leverage these platforms later and hold on to your brand name and protect it somewhat. My fifth and final tip for you, I think, is the most important. Perhaps I should have put this at the beginning. It's so important, I think, not to overlook this. Just before I give you this final tip, if you found any value in this video, I would really appreciate a like. Feel free to share this video if anyone out there needs a bit of entrepreneurial insight, additional knowledge, and a little bit of help. Please, I would really appreciate it. It's how the algorithm so I'm not even getting the words right there. It's how the algorithm finds out what's useful and what's not, and I'd really appreciate it if you did share. In addition, if there's anything I haven't given you answers to in this channel, feel free to comment below. We always reply to comments. But the fifth and final tip I'm going to give you that I think is the key to it all. As an entrepreneur, try to lift up others. That means people in your team, but that also means the external community around you. Don't make it all about you. Try to make it about the people out there that you admire, you respect, and you want to support. I have often come up with ideas and credited my team with the success of those ideas, even if I've come up with it, because it's not about the idea, it's about the execution. And if you don't lift up the people around you and support them and give them the appreciation they deserve, then they won't be there to lift you up. So lift other people up, be it even your competitors. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but as an entrepreneur, I found by boosting my competitors and being nice about them, that has actually led to friendships, partnerships, and even an acquisition of one of my companies. So I absolutely believe in this concept as entrepreneurs that no one's your competition except you. And I recommend with all my heart that even your competition, speak well of them. You'll be surprised what outcomes happen if you do that. You reverse the energy and you find yourself loving and caring and building your business in a whole new way, which makes it sustainable for you, makes it less aggressive for you, and it allows you to enjoy the journey of building your business and your entrepreneurial life. I hope you found this useful, folks, and have a wonderful day.